still to this day, the fans of the game keep bringing that up as something that kind of blew their minds. Yeah, this is hard.
The final gunshot was an exclamation mark to everything that had led to this point. I released my finger from the trigger, and then it was over.
Favorite moment in Max Payne 1. It goes back to my love of meta and having that as an element in pretty much all of our games. And this is where we did it the first time. There is a moment where Max Payne is pumped full of Valkyrie, the truck, and he's hallucinating, and we are breaking the fourth wall, and he realizes that he is in a video game. Well, back then, a computer game.
I was in a computer game. Funny as hell, it was the most horrible thing I could think of.
Somehow, that just felt so funny and exciting as a concept and still to this day, obviously, the fans of the game kind of keep bringing that up as something that kind of blew their minds.
Max, the route's clear.
Allow me to present Max Payne.
I feel that for Max Payne 2, having gone to study screenwriting in between the games also, and having more understanding on storytelling, I do really like the kind of the film noir approach of fragmented timeline, and the now that we keep coming back to, which is in graphic novel terms, it's just Max and Mona facing each other and kissing, and him being kind of like quite dark in his metaphors about it. And then finally, kind of like at the end, it's revealed that we have been kind of fooling you, and Mona is actually lying down on the ground and she is dead. So this kind of a looping narrative, I always felt, and the simple visualization of graphic novel and what it gives you and allows you to do, really like that.
Mona?
Max, we gotta stop meeting like this.
The bonus would be the TV shows, because that's also been something that we've been carrying with us and evolving and making bigger as an aspect. Just the idea of these different genres, just for fun, having these TV shows in the in-game televisions, and all of them kind of in a weird way reflect his story.
My lady, wait.
My lord!
I do like Lords and Ladies. It was a lot of fun, but maybe the favorite would be Address Unknown.
Wherever I went, the payphones started to ring. Finally, I collected enough courage to answer one.
Because it's a psycho thriller, and I feel that certain aspects of it, like as something that fascinate me as a writer, are present then, let's say, in Alan Wake, and taken forward, and Alan Wake being closer to that genre than what Max Payne is.
It's not a lake. It's an ocean.
Favorite moment in Alan Wake? Just this idea that we started with Max Payne already of using different mediums for storytelling. And then we started collaborating with Poets of the Fall, the band. They did the kind of the end credit song for Max Payne 2. And this idea of like, what if we would have a fictional band in our world and we would have music for that band, and that would be part of the story and relevance to the plot and all. And through that, bringing in Old Gods of Asgard. That just, I feel really excited about it still. And we've been working in our follow-up games with that idea. And that kind of culminating into that crazy stage fight scene where we have heavy metal song blaring and enemies coming at you. And also our main characters, like in that Alan Wake and Barry being kind of energized and amused by it.
That was awesome!
I think that certain different levels of storytelling and action gameplay just kind of clicking together and coming together in that.
What's supposed to happen? The fingers off!
Stutter. Collapsed.
Quantum Break, the idea of broken time, and where that to me comes together in a really interesting way from storytelling perspective is Will's workshop. kind of the ground zero. And when you kind of find this location that Monarch is also kind of gravitating towards and get in, and time being broken, and we are seeing these visions and fragments through broken time of Will working on the device to fix everything. That to me just kind of like, once again, gameplay, storytelling, the very core idea of what this story is about, what is the mystery you're trying to understand, coming together in that one scene.
I'm here. Why did you bring me here?
For Control, a lot of options to pick from. Let's just for now say the idea of how coming out of Quantum Break, doing that massive crazy thing with live action, this whole branching TV show, and scaling it down, but finding ways to integrate it much more into the gameplay, which goes to our Hotline visions of Trench, but also then Dr. Darling and Dr. Darling videos, which was an opportunity, like having worked with Matthew Porretta for years and years as the voice of Alan Wake, but crafting this character, getting to know Matt and kind of knowing what he can do, and creating this character of Dr. Darling for him to have fun with.
The astral plane. Similar to an iceberg, what you see is not what you always get. Regardless, this place is vitally important to the Bureau.
And then kind of like using that as a device to open up and explain a lot of the crazy science lore of Control, and having these videos and shooting them together with Matt. That is one of the highlights for sure.
We have a great show for you here tonight. Alan Wake, one of my all-time favorite writers, and this on the show.
I do have favorite moments in Alan Wake 2 for sure, and hope we'll get a chance to come back to this question and talk about it once it's out and it's no longer a spoiler. It would be easy to pick one of those. I won't, but maybe taking a step back and kind of continuing the thread of this is that what we did with live action material in Control, we wanted to be much more ambitious, push it much further in Alan Wake 2. And integrate it even closer to kind of the experience, especially with the Dark Place. You will see and experience these live action scenes in different genres, but they are very much integrated into the idea of Dark Place being this layered, deep dream reality. And Alan Wake, on his journeys, he's almost slipping from one layer of reality to another. And we are using live action as that. You'll kind of end up, going into a live action scene and watching it with Alan Wake there, suddenly being confused of how did he land here. You'll see that scene, it plays out, and then we have another dreamlike transition, and you are on the other side. It was a pleasure creating those and knitting them together into the experience. And out of those, I do have my favorites, but I'll let everybody discover them on their own.